That was the worst Blues game in the entire series, and I am extremely disappointed.
Hey, this is Brayden Chen.
Subscribe to Locked On Blues.
You're Locked On Blues, your daily podcast on the St. Louis Blues. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome back to Locked On Blues. I am your host of Locked On Blues, Haley Taylor Simon, talking to you all things about our St. Louis Blues. In today's episode, it's going to be simple. It is going to be a reaction to what I saw, to what I didn't see on the ice last night in the 5-3 loss to the Winnipeg Jets. This was a crucial game 5, and the Blues honestly did not show up. Yes, they were physically there in Winnipeg, but at the end of the day, they did not show up on the ice. And I don't think words can express to you how frustrated and infuriated I am with this team, knowing the great possibility that they could have clinched this at home on Friday, but instead it is the Blues facing an elimination game in Game 6. We have a lot to get to on today's episode, but I want to let you know that this episode is brought to you by Amazon Fire TV Stick 4K. Turn any TV into your Xbox, no console needed. Head to amazon.com/firetv locked on to learn more. Again, welcome back to today's episode of Locked On Blues. I am going to try to be positive throughout this episode, right? But I think my main little bit of today's episode, when I was brainstorming ideas and topics of what specifically I wanted to get into, I just needed to talk a little bit more about the loss to the Jets. Here's my problem with last night's loss. Yes, Kyle Connors scored first again. Like, who is surprised at this point? I was not upset about that because I kind of figured that the Jets might be the first to score just based off of the momentum and the energy in Winnipeg. That's not the issue that I have. It is the Blues not showing up. When your best line is the fourth line, that is an issue. And I feel like, and I'm not a hater, and I even had to delete this tweet because of how much negativity it caused. I feel like I haven't seen much from Jordan Kyrou, especially in this game and the other games. I like Jordan Kyrou. I defend him all the time. I just did not see enough from him. And some of the responses from people were, well, you're calling out Kyrou, but nobody else. And I said, I do not mind calling out the entire team because I will. And in the first goal, I believe it was Kyle Connor's goal, Nick Leddy, where he was positioned, he had such an opportunity to block that shot, but nope, goes right in. And again, was it the best game for Binnington? No, but at the same time, look at the defense that was in front of him, and then can you really be that upset about what happened? I think, too, Robert Thomas. I always expect a lot out of Robert Thomas. He had a great feed to Jimmy Snuggerud, who got his second playoff goal. But other than that, Thomas didn't do much. And yes, he looked visibly frustrated. I mentioned this on Twitter last night because you get to see the frustration in Robert Thomas's eyes. But again, at the end of the day, he took a shot. It was way too high and wide, and you cannot do that. You need to be able to actually control the puck, and that is the issue. This team looked flustered last night. Even Colton Parayko, he had a shot at one point that he just shot way too high. And that's not like Colton Parayko usually. Usually his shots are pretty accurate. I mean, they're bombs. It's like 99 miles per hour. Like, he really does have a hard shot. But it just looked like the team was flustered last night. Bushi didn't see anything from him. Nathan Walker did score 2 goals. That is right. The Aussies scored 2 goals. The first goal was deflected off of his body from Colton Parayko. Second goal he scored a little bit after Winnipeg, I believe, was it. They got their final goal. Listen, Nathan Walker, I'll get into Oscar Sundqvist, but Nathan Walker plays hard, and I can't be mad at him. I can't be upset with the fourth liners, and I think that is where I am coming from in today's episode, is that the frustration I have is more towards all the other lines and not the fourth line, even though the fourth line didn't play stellar at the end of the day. I can't be mad about it. The Blues also lead the NHL playoffs in hits, which I think is really ironic because, in my personal opinion, watching this game, it looks like Winnipeg had chances where they were more physical. But no, going on again about Nathan Walker, I was happy for him. He was able to get his first playoff goal, and then he got a second one. So it was a multi-goal game for Nathan Walker. And then Jimmy Snuggard, as I said, was able to score his second goal as well. Now, Oscar Sundquist. There was a play, and this play, he kind of got a little bit elbowed up in the nose, and immediately I saw blood. You can see the blood. It's gross, but you can see it, obviously. But the way he fell back, now they gave him a penalty for embellishment. If you're on YouTube right now, please look. If you're listening, just please imagine what I am doing. But he was skating forward, gets hit, and it's like this awkward, like dramatic fall back while he's like holding his face. When I saw that at first, this is my honest opinion, non-biased opinion. I know how I would react if I got hit in the face. I've got hit in the face before, not like a fight, but like, playing sports. And your immediate first instinct is to grab your face. That is a human instinct. Now, the velocity and the speed that he is going at forward, that he's projecting himself at, to then get hit and to be pushed back, because I'm a figure skater, so I know how this works on the ice. Sometimes it is awkward how you fall. I don't think he embellished it whatsoever. He held his face a little bit on the ice. Obviously, I saw blood, and he admitted that there was blood as well. He got up, he went to the bench, recuperated, and then they called him for that. I think that was a really bad call. Winnipeg fans are going to argue that it was embellishment, that it was a little dramatic. I hate the embellishment call. I do. I think anytime an athlete shows discomfort, they look in pain, I want to believe them, because these are some of the toughest guys, hockey guys. And just the way that he got hit, anybody that would get hit like that, I feel like would just instantaneously grab your face. So for me, that was a call that I did not agree on. What I will say is that the officiating, to me, and this is my own opinion, you can argue if you want, I do not care. This is my show. I'm going to say what I want. I feel like it's a little bit more towards Winnipeg in last night's game. Now, do I think that's the reason why the Blues lost? No, the Blues lost because they didn't play well. So two things can be true. I can think more calls were made in favor of Winnipeg, and at the same time, I can still say, hey, it doesn't matter, because the Blues, they would have still lost the contest. It did not matter. So that is how I feel about that. People like to argue all the time, oh, you're biased, whatever. Like, it's called Locked on Blues for a reason, because I am locked on my Blues for a reason. But no, last night's game was ugly. And I'm trying to think of positive about last night's game, and there really isn't much. I guess what I can say is, it's really hard, actually, because I really don't know if there's any positive. And by the way, as of today, Mark Scheifele is out for Game 6. He will not be traveling with the team, and it's very unfortunate. He left Game 5 last night after the first period, and he did not return. So Scheifele was injured on the Foxa hit and not the collision with Braden Shen. He played 6 minutes after the hit with Braden Shen. So this is, again, a big loss for the Jets. And Scheifele was second in Jets regular season scoring with 39 goals and a career high 87 points to help lead Winnipeg to the President's Trophy. And prior to his exit from the game, Scheifele did play about 8 minutes and 5 seconds of the first frame. And before I continue any further, I just want to put this out. I hate when players get injured of opposing teams. I hate seeing injuries in general. And you might be thinking, oh, well, one of Winnipeg's best players is out. I hate that. I do. I hate that for him. I hate that for my opponent. I do not wish injury on any single team. I think it's horrible. So that is just an injury update. Again, I am not happy about it. While he is not a Blue and he is a Jet and he's a very good player, I still wish that he was able to play in the contest on Friday. And I just want to make that very clear, that me reporting that is not me excited. I am not excited that Mark Scheifele isn't playing, because I think that he is great competition. I am very upset about the fact that he won't be able to play because I think that sucks, especially in the playoffs. So again, I know how competitive things can be in the playoffs, but I want, and I'm always going to take the higher road, and I'm going to send my thoughts to Mark Scheifele and hope that he does recover because that absolutely sucks. It sucks. I hate seeing players injured. Right now, the Blues are missing Dylan Holloway, and it sucks. He's one of our best players, and it's horrible. And I'm sure Winnipeg, I can't speak for Winnipeg, but I'm sure that a lot of the Winnipeg fans would have wished that Dylan Holloway is in because it makes for better competition when you have your best guys able to play. I know it's a part of the game. It still sucks, and I just wanted to give you that little update on Mark Scheifele. I'm going to talk to you about my friends over at Monarch Money before we continue to digest the contest last night and some of the players' thoughts after it. But Monarch Money, ever check your bank account and wonder where did all my money go between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment? It's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So you just stop managing your money and start building wealth. When I started using Monarch, I realized just how much I was spending on food delivery, and now I budget smarter and I save more. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNHL for half off your first year. We're going to continue talking about the game last night. Obviously, it was a little bit of a brutal game as Kyle Connor had a goal and 2 assists for Winnipeg and their 5-3 win against the Blues. Again, this is the first round of the Western Conference. And now the Blues are looking to hopefully draw this contest to a Game 7 and Game 6 tomorrow. Here's the thing. I personally thought that the Blues were going to come out a lot stronger. They were going to attack a little bit harder, and they didn't. So for me, that was really frustrating. The only goal scorers last night were Nathan Walker with 2 and Jimmy Snuggerud with 1. And Jordan Binnington made 21 saves. Coach Montgomery said it's simple. They were better than us. There's a lot of facets, but we were on to the next one. It's a playoff series. I thought that this was their best game. Thought it was our worst game. We're on to the next one. We can analyze every part of it. They were better, so we're on to the next one. So Kyle Connor made it a 1-0 game about 1 minute and 23 seconds into the contest. He was scoring from the top corner after he got a great feed for Mark Scheifele from behind the net. So again, great playmaking by the Jets on that one. Just brutal. Now, Nathan Walker did tie it a couple minutes later at the 3-minute 42-second mark. And again, Nathan Walker, and this is what this Blues team does. They stand in front of Connor Hellebuck, and they're able to, block his vision. And Walker was able to put it in off of a great point shot from Colton Parayko. Anyways, Captain Brayden Schenn said they're a good team, but we've played some good hockey at home for a couple of months now. So we're comfortable there, and the fans behind us. We played well in games 3 and 4. You knew it was going to be a tough series. They're a good team, a lot of back and forth and momentum swings. So far, the road team hasn't been able to get the job done. It's our turn to get one at home now. And I think that's a really good mentality to have. And I'm glad that Brayden is aware that, hey, the road teams have been kind of bad in this series. And you don't want Winnipeg to clinch on home ice for the Blues. Blues' home ice. That would suck. I love Enterprise and the fans and all of it. And the last thing I would want is to see a handshake line tomorrow night. And that's kind of setting into me. Like tomorrow night could be the last time we see the Blues play until September for preseason. I don't like that. It makes me very uncomfortable because it is a real possibility now. I know a couple games ago when the Jets were up 2-0, I said, oh, well, that could happen soon. Okay, well, the reality is, and I'm going to just be completely transparent on this one, the Jets had still 2 more games to win. The Jets won. another game. So now they're up in the series 3-2. And they just need one more win while the Blues need 2 more win. And there's 2 more games left. So the Blues need to win out. Playoff hockey is intense, man. Anyways, Oscar Sundquist said, I think every game so far, the first period has been very physical. It's no different here or at home. So it's been a physical series. And I don't think that's going to stop either on Friday. He also said no one's won on the road so far. So obviously we're feeling good going home. And we're going to do everything we can to come back here on Sunday for game 7. I'm hoping so too. That would be the most ideal situation for the Blues. Another big problem was that the Blues only had 10 shots on goal in the third after generating just 9 total through the first 2 periods. So that's really embarrassing. I did not like that whatsoever. I think the Blues look lackadaisical on ice. I know that they tried, and I know that they put their effort in, whatever. But at the end of the day, you can't score if you're not shooting on the net. And I think that was a lot of the frustration that our fan base had, was the lack of shooting, the lack of offensive zone time. And the Blues, listen, they spent a majority of the game in their defensive zone. It was very obvious. And you cannot do that. When you were trying to tie up a game, because the Blues never had the lead in this game, they trailed or they had it tied. They never had the lead. And I think the Blues didn't put enough effort in on the offensive zone. It was a dump and chase, but not a lot of chasing, okay? And I'm just going to be completely honest with that. I just did not see the same effort that I saw in games 3 and 4, and I hate that. Oh, well, it wasn't at home, the momentum. Who cares? You need to block out all of those people, all of those fans. You need to block it out. That's how I feel about it. I just feel like at the end of the day, you're making excuses, and that's not something that's acceptable, and not a fan. So coming up, I'm going to talk to you about my thoughts heading into Game 6 tomorrow night, some of your reactions on social media, because I thought you all had a lot of good things to say about our team. But before I do that, I'm going to tell you about my friends over at Amazon Fire TV Stick. Did you know your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe, or sign in to Xbox Game Plus Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to go. Dive into hundreds of premium titles, including EA Sports, College Football 25, Call of Duty. It's as easy as you stream your favorite show. Listen, for me personally, I love that you can kind of just jump into your favorite Xbox games like Call of Duty without needing your console in every single room, okay? And by the way, you don't want to be in front of like your main place of stay, right? You can be at hotels, family visits, or even just your bedroom. But the Fire TV Stick 4K makes it possible to play from almost anywhere, maybe even at work. Already have a console, a Fire TV Stick 4K device is more affordable and easier to travel with, allowing you to take you, your kids, your family, whoever's games you want with you, and you can plug right in. So head to amazon.com/firetv.com. Head to amazon.com/firetv locked on to get started. Xbox Game Plus Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required, available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K, 2nd Gen Fire TV Stick 4K Max, 1st and 2nd Gen, and Fire TV Cube 3rd Generation. So on social media, a lot of you had some stuff to say to me because I said I am upset. I feel like my heart is breaking watching this Blues team. And Max Tape said, we'll be fine. Blues in 7. The Jets played their best game, and we played our worst. Plus, the refs decided to put their hands on the game way too much, which changes the flow. Here's the thing. I did talk about the officiating, but I don't want to blame it purely on the refs because at the end of the day, it's not the refs' fault that the Blues only had 9 shots on goal throughout the first couple frames. The Jets did play their best game, absolutely, and the Blues played their worst game. Fact. How did the Blues recover? I don't know. Mike Thomas says the Blues will win 2 straight. I hope so. Kevin said, I actually made it through the entire game. They maybe had 2 good shifts in the first and second period. The third was better, but it was the Jets taking their foot off the gas. He questioned that for the reason why the Blues maybe had some more good, okay, shifts in the third. The effort wasn't good. I'd love to see the time they spent in the Jet zone. It wasn't much. Passing drill says you can't shoot the puck when you don't establish the zone. And that's a very interesting thing that was said, because that was something that Coach Montgomery did talk on after the second game of the series. And he said the key to success is to spend more time in Winnipeg's zone. And you saw that in games 3 and 4, that the Blues spent a lot of time in Winnipeg's offensive zone. I mean, Winnipeg's zone. Yeah. I got like tongue-tied for a second. And they were able to find success. So they just need to do what they did in the first 2 games at home. So games 3 and 4. My guy, Dylan, he said, I love Dill. Terrible offensive series, to be honest. Even game 4, the first was terrible. No sustained pressure until the game was over. That was concerning, not grinding enough. And that is what I said all along. I said in game 4, I liked 41 minutes of it, not the full 60. I liked the last minute, obviously, because of the goal, but I did not like what I saw the first 19 minutes when the Jets had control. You cannot allow Winnipeg to have control. They have better shooters. They have a great team, and they have a lot of momentum and effort. So, no, at the end of the day, I do not agree whatsoever that game 4 was the best game. Game 3 was the best game. Alex said the Jets used to be the team in the division I could actually get behind. And then he just basically went on to say, after how their captain and the coach and everybody in games 3 and 4 and the fans carry themselves in the series, they're on the same level to me as Nashville is now. Wish them the worst. I don't agree. I think that playoff hockey, it's a different kind of atmosphere. And I think that, they might hate us. I mean, we were chanting, Connor, we won Connor. Like, what makes us any better? And I love our fan base here in St. Louis, obviously. I'm a Blues fan. But again, that is the game of playoff hockey. So no, I don't think it's anything like that. B said, it's okay. We come back home, we blow them out, and then we come to Winnipeg and take the win. You know what's funny? And I don't want the team to lose by any means, but I'd rather the team lose in Winnipeg in a game 7 than lose at home in a game 6. Like, that's just my personal take. But it was not a good game last night. It was an awful game. It was a late game. Luckily, tomorrow's game, I believe it's at 6. So it's not going to be too late. It's a little bit before Friday night SmackDown. But no, I'm laughing because I'm flabbergasted, honestly, with how ridiculous the game was last night. I was up until 1 a.m. I'm in Eastern time. I was up until 1 a.m. watching this game, kind of half asleep at one point, thinking to myself, wow, I'm so happy I didn't travel to Winnipeg to see this. They put no effort in. I don't know why home ice plays such a crucial role in this series. I wish I had an answer, because the Jets are a beatable team. I just, again, don't know. Now, there has been a couple teams already eliminated from the playoffs. I believe it's the New Jersey Devils and the Montreal Canadiens. Did anybody from the West get eliminated? I don't think so yet. So you don't want it to be the first. So, yeah, I don't like it. But at least we're going to have the first team eliminated. All right, I will talk to you tomorrow when I'm in panic mode and I'm freaking out. But until then, I hope my anger, my frustration was able to come across as seemingly optimistic, hopefully, for a game 6 victory. I will talk to you all tomorrow. And like always, let's go Blues.